episode of the Sweetkittycrafts podcast channel. My name is Jolanda and I'm coming to you from a very windy Netherlands, and I live on the east side of the Netherlands. Today it is Sunday and we're at the 8th, the 8th of December. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, how have you been? I've been quite fine. Yeah, we decorated our house, the Christmas tree is up. It's something I really needed because I don't have any feeling about it's getting Christmas. I got to make stuff ready. Yeah, maybe it's for the better. I got a little bit of sideways lighting. I hope that it's not too distracting for you. Yeah, I've got some things to show you, of course. And yeah, what else? I wanted to start with a shout out this podcast. I usually don't do those, but I have a lovely friend over in the United States. Her name is Esther and she has a lovely podcast, and I really want to do a shout out for her. She is a lovely lady. She's a bit older than I am. She's full of energy. She makes the most wonderful things and she is so down to earth. I always immediately watch her podcast as soon as she downloads it. It is a smaller channel and I don't know why, but I really like those, and yeah, she always makes me smile. So I will put a link down below. And Esther, thank you very much for being my friend, and I really enjoy seeing your podcast, and I hope you have a lovely Christmas time and preparation time. So let's get started with the regular things. I got, of course, some finished objects, and I got works in progress, and I got tons of plans, but my hands and my body are really cooperating at the moment. But that might be an issue of the weather, or maybe the issue of the mind, you never know. I'll just keep going very slow and do some crafting every day, and trying to keep the mind happy, and then hopefully it will pass soon. Let's start with the finished object. I don't think this is a kind of a surprise. It is the sweater from Jennifer Steingers, which finally is finished. I did weave in all the ends. It is blocked. It is all done. I have not worn it yet, but this is it. For you and those who are new, of course, welcome. This is made out of Drops Charisma, and the color work is in my hand spun. So if you're a hand spinner and you have one skein that you really don't know what to do with, just combine it in your color work sweaters, because yeah, wow, it looks so nice, and I'm very happy with it. We had a very cold week, like freezing cold, and now it's turning into 10 degrees again, and that's warm. I'm already warm. I am wearing a hand knit though, because when it is winter time we want to wear our woolies. And this is a pattern by Hoagie Locatelli, and this is the Feathers in the Wind cardigan. Yes. I am warm because I had to run upstairs getting things, and yeah, I had to film a little bit. Another finished object, and I'm calling this my first one, and I just made a little video of it. It is the Nature's Walk blanket from Sandra, which is Cherry Heart. It is a free pattern. You can find it on her blog, and you get four charts. I think 4 different charts for making the blanket. If you buy the whole package with yarn, you get 4 extra squares. Excuse me if I am saying this wrong, because it has been a while, but I just looked up pattern books and Pinterest and things like that, and Willie, come! She is such a bad jumper, and she just clawed my leg to try to get on my lap. Come! We just did a little weigh about how heavy the kitties are. It was kind of shocking. Molly was the heaviest. She was 7 kilos. That's a bit too much. Timo was 5, I think. It's the boy. And the Persian cat was almost 4, but she's kind of skinny, but she is turning 15. 15? Yeah, she's turning 15, so That's okay. Getting sidetracked. So here's finished object number 1. It's the Nature Walks blanket by Sandra Paul. If you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen pictures of this, but this is it on my bed. So this is a crochet blanket, and if you did not buy the pattern pack with the yarn, you only got 4 squares, 4 different squares. I added a few of my own, like this one with the little butterflies. And let me have a look if I can find another one. I did add the grey one, which kind of looks like a path, I think. Hi Mo, Mo's here. And well, actually, I'm not quite sure. But yes, I made it out of 100% acrylic, and it is the Dermos anti-pilling decay, which is a very nice yarn. It is it's a bit shiny, it's very soft, and yeah, I would prefer it above the Stylecraft Special Decay, definitely. There are so many colors. At one point in time I bought 1 skein of every color they had, just for comparison. If you want to make a blanket, you can combine them and then order more. But I just used up everything I had. The only thing I did, I bought another brand. I think I bought a Stylecraft Special Decay just for the border, because there was so much yarn going into this border, and that's understandable. If you make the blanket bigger, of course you're gonna need more yarn for the border, and in this case it was a lot more yarn. So absolutely very happy with this, how it turned out. It could have been a bit bigger, but it usually stretches out, so I'm very happy with this. Works in progress. I have kind of finished my sweater out of handspun. It is the Bay Bridge from Olive Knits, which is Mary Green. I finished all the knitting, and yeah, what can I say? I loved. I really don't like knitting sleeves in the round. I don't like knitting sleeves at all, but I figured out a way so I get them done more quickly. So I'll get closer. This one is knit top down, then you separate for the sleeves and the body, and I knitted the body, of course, in the round. Then you pick up the sleeve stitches like normally, and then you have to pick up stitches here where you cast them off for the armhole. I did not pick them up, but I cast them on, like here, on both sides. So normally it says pick up an X amount of stitches, maybe 6, and then join in the round, and I just cast on 3 on both sides, and then I knit the sleeves flat. So these are knit flat, and I knit those 2 at a time, just on a needle. And yes, you have to purl, but I don't mind purling. I do get very cramped when I have to knit them in the round, and that takes me way longer than just knitting those together on one needle and get the increases exactly at the same place. That's always an advantage. Then I wove in all the ends, and what I'm planning to do, and I will do a film for you as soon as I get around to that, I will pin this or clip this. There are those magic clips you can use in your patchwork and quilting. Clip this all together until I reach the underarm, and then try to seam it on my sewing machine very close to the edge with a long stitch, because if it doesn't work out, I can totally rip it out more easily. But just try to seam it very close to the edge, turn it inside out, block it, and see if that gives me a nice seam. I reckon it should. because all the garments you buy in the store are not hand sewn. So this is possible. I will do the underarm by hand because I then can control it better by not making any holes and things like that. So yeah, I think it turned out quite right. This is became quite more striping than this, which is understandable. A smaller circumference gives bigger stripes, but I think I like it the way it is. I will look up some buttons for this. Maybe I will reuse the buttons I had before. They were kind of a bluish color. Yeah, we'll see. I didn't even try it on or anything. I just finished it and I laid it with my washing machine. And I thought, well, no, I think I'm gonna sew it first and then block it. I think that's a better plan. So I'll let you know how that turns out. It may be an idea if you hate knitting sleeves in the round or hate knitting them at all. Now you can just use the pattern as it is and just knit them flat. And then, or you can of course seam them by hand if that's something you enjoy. There are lots of people who do enjoy hand seaming, so that's also an option. And yeah, this is the old Drops cardigan I frogged because it was too wide in the neckline and it was on the too loose gauges. It just kept growing. It was half a dress at some point and the neckline was way too wide. So I decided to frog it. I showed you it in a few episodes back. And yeah, I think this is better. This will be, if it fits and it's coming out the way I want it, this will be worn definitely more than the other one. Maybe it's that one that you can use it as a kind of a jacket. I don't know. We'll see. Some other things. Let me see. I think I'm gonna start with my latest work in progress, because this is kind of at the stage what we are now, and it is the Advent. I did participate in the Luli Advent Calendar mini swap, which kind of well, it was just sending 6 mini skeins to a person you were assigned to, and then return 6 to the other side. And we did that 4 times, so I got only little mittens filled with little packages, and I open one every day. And then I do participate in the Kia's Bold Stash Cow, and you probably all know her podcast. She has a very large channel, so I will not go into anything like that. But yeah, she shows a pattern. It was Carla from Vilcolana. It's a free pattern, and I thought that was a very nice one. It had some color work. It has not some color work, it's a total color work sweater. That was not something I wanted to do, just because I do use the minis I was sent, and they are very colorful. Most of them are sock yarns and hand-dyed yarns, and they're not tonal, they're just all variegated, and that will be a very busy sweater, even combining that with color work. But when I saw the pattern, I thought, yeah, I will do the yoke in the color work, and then we'll do the rest of the sweater just plain knitting. And then I started it, and if you follow me on Instagram, you all know about the disaster. I printed out the pattern. The pattern is a bottom up, because I only wanted to do the color work yoke, I did top down. I really nicely translated, and I did all the math for you all in all the sizes, put it all on my Ravelry page, started knitting, I was halfway, and I thought, well, this is kind of curious. I already got the stitch count that you're supposed to be having at the end of the yoke, and I'm only halfway the yoke. So yeah, I did the calculations, and I thought, yeah, it says increase every row. And you got 4 markers, and this is a raglan, so you got the increase on both sides of the markers, and then the light bulb went off. Like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I already had my doubts, like, are you gonna increase every row? That is a lot of stitches, and they're all very bunched up, because if there's no rest row, they're all stacked on top of each other. I can put a picture in here for you if you want to see how it. I ripped it off the needles and put it on me, and then took a picture, and it was all flaring, so it was way too many stitches. So I will put a picture in here now. But the good news is, of course, if you frog that, you only end up with half of the stitches. So the knitting will go way faster than the first part, which had so many stitches. And then I was kind of happy I had to frog it, because I was not totally happy about the neckline. I wanted a little bit wider, because I usually wear something underneath, and oh, I don't mind if you see a little bit of the T that's under there, but I'm already very hot and I would like to have some breathing room around my neck. And if I get cold, I will wear a shawl, which I do a lot lately. I'm very happy about that. So yeah, getting some fresh air around the neck will keep you a little bit cooler in this time of life. Yeah. Well, where was I going? So I was kind of happy, because you never know, you're never happy about frogging anything, but I was kind of, because now I had a plan. I had a new plan. I don't know if you ever knitted toe-up socks and have done the figure 8 cast on. You have 2 needles, you cast on in a figure 8, like on top, like that. So you have 1 needle here, 1 needle there, and they have both live stitches. Usually then you start knitting in the round and then the thing is closed. But I did not. I had to cast on 554 stitches. There were a lot of stitches. So I made those live stitches and I started to knit up for the yoke and knit down for the body. So I knit a few rounds of the pattern using up my mini for the day, and then I start working the other way around for the body. It's kind of really I really like that. It really suits me, and I think I'm going to do that more, because you always get stuck on a very boring part, and sometimes you just can't progress with the color work because you have friends over or you got television on and you got to entertain people and you just can't count and knit. And then you can turn your work around and you can start knitting on the body. And it is really, you don't see a line or anything because there are already live stitches. Sometimes when you do a professional cast on, you can see a kind of a line because the stitches got a little bit twisted. I don't know what's happened, but that is what's happening. And this is working out so nicely. And now I gotta figure out the way to show it to you without losing any stitches. So this is how I got so far. So here are the live stitches for the bottom. See, I did start knitting some for the body part, and this is how the yoke is turning out. And here are the raglan decreases, so you can follow the pattern by decreasing and not increasing, which is a lot easier because this is a you only get the chart for this, but there's no instruction about how to make the color work go from one side to the other after you've decreased. So it is easier to decrease than to increase in pattern, so then you have to do a lot of difficult stuff. My brain is not into difficult stuff at the moment. So look at this little progress keeper. I made these, and these are in my knitter's gift bag. Can you see what it is? It is a little sheep. It's blowing out. It's kind of sad, but it's cute. It's on my progress. It's on my knitting. This one is from Caroline. She's a Dutch. She makes glass beads, and she has also a shop with indie dyed yarn. So I really like that one. And I did make a lot of stitch markers for my 12 days of Christmas Advent, and this is one of them. It's a very nice leaf. See, it's lovely. And what's the other one? Oh yes, this is It's kind of nice. I used to wear a lot of earrings, but my ears get infected, those little thingies there. So I ended up with a lot of earrings that I could not wear. So what I did is to take off the pretty part, added a little bee and a ring. So now I can use it as a stitch marker. Clever, isn't it? Yeah, that's another idea. I only can wear clip-on earrings right now, and those are not always very comfortable to wear a whole day long. But okay, that's another different subject. So this is the Carla cardigan sweater from Quilting. This is how it's turning out. So I will pick up again the stitches for the sleeves as soon as I finish the yoke. And now I can try it on and see how wide the neckline is. There was a lot of decreases here. I think you had to decrease like every stitch on the side. They two together the whole row. That's a lot of decreasing. And then there was one plain knitting, and then there was like decrease every third stitch or something. So I thought that was kind of for me. So now I can better see how wide it is and how much decrease I will do before I think the neckline is nice. So if you have looked at the picture, it was quite a high neckline. And what I did like about it is they wanted you to knit the neckband, that's the last ribbing, with a double thread. That makes a real nice and thick and sturdy neckline, which I thought was a very clever idea. I might even do that, because sometimes it overstretches because the whole weight of the sweater is hanging on it onto the neckline, and making it a double thread is very appropriate, because actually the color work is also a double thread and more thicker than just plain knitting. So yeah, that might work out, and I might even steal that idea and do use that. But yeah, I'm gonna pick up the stitches for the sleeves, and then do the same, like casting on both sides of the sleeves, and then knit them flat again. But maybe I change my mind. If that's going to be a disaster on my Baybridge cardigan, then you never know. I might use the Bigfoot seam, or just the old-fashioned matter stitch, which yeah, I haven't done that enough to be comfortable with it and to be absolutely sure that it will turn out nicely. So far I had not had that much good luck with it. The Bigfoot seam, I did have some nice results, and that was with the cardigan I wore last time, which was a pattern by Libby Johnson, and that was the Fluidity cardigan. So yeah, this is a nice pattern, and I probably will not finish that whole sweater before Christmas, but the yoke definitely. Definitely. So that is also very nice, and very good progress on this. So I am a bit disorganized. I'm a bit disorganized today. because suddenly things are popping up. I thought, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. There are also finished objects, but they were already used and given away. So I do have some pictures. Those are still the mitts, the garden mitts from Isolde Teak. And I found mine here, so I can tell you a little bit more about it. So they are knit flat, and they have a seam here at the underarm at the bottom. And I must say, the more I make of them, the prettier they become, because the seaming in cardie stitch is a bit different than seaming in stockinette stitch, and you can find the seaming instructions on, I think, Wormy Woolly had. There was a link in the pattern where you could look it up. Basically, normally you do knit on, purl off, purl on, knit on different needles. Now you do knit off, purl on, knit off, purl on. The same thing as you do on the front, you do on the back of the needle. So these are very easy, very nice and warm. My husband asked me for some mitts. He never asked me for anything handmade or hand knit. He is allergic to wool, you know, real allergic, like sneezing, getting no breath and that kind of stuff. So I made some out of acrylic. He uses them on his work because he does a lot of computer work, gets very cold hands, and those were amazing. And then my father-in-law had to be hospitalized, and my husband was there, and he said, the man is wearing warm packs on his hands to keep himself warm. Can you make him some of those mitts? Yeah, sure I can. So I dug into my stash. I found hand spun made out of wool and alpaca. I thought that might be the warmest thing I can think of, because it is first of all not superwash, which makes things less warm. It is a non-superwash and there's alpaca in there, so that must be good. So that was on Saturday, I think, and he had to go there on Wednesday. So on Monday, I think, well, I start a mitt and then do another mitt on Tuesday, and Wednesday he brought him to the hospital. And yesterday, the day before Friday, he came home from the hospital after 2 weeks. He has used them day and night. He loves them. I'm so happy for that. Really. That's all I can. It's all that I need to do for him to make him feel it. Just a word for that. Really happy. So those are the garden mitts from Isolde. It's a free pattern, and if I have not done so yet, I will show you the 2 pairs that were given away here. Something else I've been working on, which I showed you the last time as only sleeves and a body, are the mountain roses from Anne. This is Farm Designs, and this is the lovely pattern. And I have started the color work, but I want some advice because I don't think this is working out. There's nothing to do with the pattern though, but it has to do something with my color choice. Because as you can see, you can't see the color work. That's not totally true, because you can see some of the color work. But is this enough? This will be such a wide band in a grey sweater, and the color work is not really standing out. But that is kind of a thing at the moment, right? Not so prominent color choice, but I also do love the mountain roses, and I really want to show it off, and I'm not sure. But so I'm at this part now, which is not that visible. But then we'll go into the grey again, and there will be the white roses. They of course will show up, because the white and the grey, they really are contrasting. So those roses will really stand out, and those will kind of fade away. I don't know. I can go on knitting and knitting and then decide that I don't like it and have to throw it all again. That might be it. But I've looked through all the other color options that I have, and this is Drops. It's not the Flora, it's the Drops North, and they don't have that much choices in colors actually. And I thought the grey with the white and the and the pink is just on its own is a very nice combination. But will it work? And I just ripped up all the stitches. Will it work in this pattern? Yeah, you don't know until you try it, right? But what else? What kind of a color could I use with this, which is nice and matchy? I don't want everything in grey, dark grey, light grey. I could use maybe a darker pink, Maybe that will work. Like, yeah, or wine radish. Maybe that's a better option. I don't like enjoying frogging this though. But I'm not working on it as long as I decide what I'm going to do. I think it might be a much better idea to use a darker. But then even then, is this a too big contrast? Maybe not if there's a dark red or dark fuchsia or something. That will shift the balance a bit. But this just looks like a white blob. It will only get bigger. And if you come up close, you think, oh, there's something in there. Yeah, I don't think I'm happy with this. I wasn't already happy with this, but you try to convince yourself that you are, because you don't want a frog. But that's not, it's not nice, but it is not too bad, because I already have the bottom and the sleeves. So I only have to frog this little part and make it nicer, right? I hope I get some inspiration and things, because I really like the sweater, and it is perhaps Noord has some alpaca and wool and nylon, so that is a very nice blend. And I have to consider if the body is long enough actually, because this will cover the arm. Yeah, I think it is. Or I should knit the body even longer, because now I have the chance. If I make changes now, I have to do it right, right? Yeah, I do. I don't know about that. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. That would be nice. And it would be very, very nice to hear what you have what kind of ideas you have and what you would do. Would you go and knit this up like it is and just wait for the contrast to begin in the yoke part, or would you frog this part and totally try a different color scheme? I could go for a totally different color scheme, because I've already got the medium gray, and that will fit with everything actually. I could even go just for some petrol with white. It might even also be very nice. I did buy it. Oh, I'm gonna grab it. Just to see. Why don't we look at this together for a little bit? Because I already bought quite amount of this yarn, this color, because I had to order some. I had to order some grey for my advent sweater. So what if I just frog this part? Let's show it to you a little bit decent. And add some of this in. Looked like a bright idea. I'm not sure about it now. I was thinking actually, where did my white go? The floor, of course. So add these two with the grey. But if I change out the white for the teal, then it means I will get white flowers in the teal part, which would be great enough. But then I would get teal flowers in the grey. That might also work, but who wants teal flowers? I'm not sure. I'm totally not sure. I have to think this out, and maybe I have to make little swatches with just a little bit of scribbling the colors around each other. Usually you do that before you start the knitting. And I might even make the body a little bit longer, because yeah, it might be a thing I like more. But I'm not sure. I'm going to try the Jennifer Steinke sweater on. That is a little bit short also. If they like that, I will keep the body as it is. Otherwise, frog it and knit the body more up, and then try other colors. Just now, before I get too far and you're gonna end up with something that's gonna bother you all the time. That's just too sad. I have one more work in progress. I'm gonna pack that now. If you get around Christmas time, the most loveliest patterns are gonna pop up. And this is, most of them are at a nice discount. So this is a very nice crochet pattern. You can make it as long as you want. You can make it just so it is one wrap, or you can make it the double length. I think it's 60-inch, so you can use it as a double looped cowl. So this is just knit side by side. I had some of this lovely yarn, just one skein. There's a ton of meters on there, so just a little V-stitch, little bobble on the ends, and yeah, it also would be nice. I think I will go for the double loop, so it will hang a little bit like that. I have no clue at all what the pattern is called. I will put it on the screen for you if I have the time and the energy and all kinds of things and don't get distracted. I will put the links down below, but you can always go and click on the link below and go to my project page on Ravelry. Friend me there if you would like. I would really like to be friends so I can see what you're all working on. And then there are projects pages for every project I have. Yeah, I think I'm quite good in keeping notes, so you can see what yarn I used and how long it took me to make and all the disasters that happened. And yeah, that's quite, I think that's the most handy part. There is always a link to the pattern if you want to go to the original pattern and purchases. That would also be a great idea. I did some sewing. I'm way behind. Just as things happen. Doesn't matter though. I finished this one. I wore it a ton. It needs to be washed. I took pictures of it. I need to send it to my teacher, but I did not. So this is just a very nice tricot. It's quite a thick one. I just did the seam with a very small zigzag because I did not have my fancy sewing machine which had all kinds of fancy stitches, but just a small zigzag. My old machine did not like the twin stitch or twin needle. It always bunched up on the inside, which I did not like. But this is just serged and then folded over and then just a small zigzag, which gives it some stretch. It doesn't have to be way stretchy because the whole fabric is already stretchy and it was not that tight. I have some pictures for you if you would like to see how it is on me. And yeah, finished. I made two t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts for Patrick. One, the pattern was so tight, he is so skinny, but he couldn't get it, couldn't bend his arms, it was way too tight. So cut it off over here, made a seam, and it is a short sleeve t-shirt now. It was just for practice actually, because it was fabric. I ordered fabric and there was something in there that I did not order, and there was something missing that I did order. So I contacted those people and they said, oh, I'll refund you, I'm so sorry, you can keep the fabric. And I was like, I don't even like the fabric. But I said, oh, that's fine, I will wear it, I like it. And so it wasn't too bad that it was not turning out that way that we actually had planned to, but it's okay. It didn't cost me anything and it was very good practice. This was from my very old fabric stash. Do you call it fabric stash? I think you do. And I made another t-shirt, and this one will go to my oldest son Michael. And it's just striped. Oh, I think that might be my stash for 10 years, who knows. And I'm already, I'm so happy that it's out now. I've washed it already because I was afraid it would shrink. It did shrink, but it will fit him, still fit him. This is a different stitch I did on my a new machine. It is like a staggered. I have no clue. Words are failing me. Words are failing me every day. Everyone's laughing about it. Don't listen to me, I said. Mum is rambling again. No words. I don't even think you can see it, but maybe you can. So it's not a real zigzag, it's just a staggered stitch. It's okay. It's different, but it's way stretchier. I definitely can say that. So I only have to seam this side. So I do overlock it first and then fold it and pin it and do a stretchy stitch close to the edge. These are such quick projects. If you're used to knitting and knitting, and it will take you months to finish something, even for big boys, and you start sewing, then you're done in an hour. Like, okay, that's not much of time. Mostly the big part is drafting the pattern. I bought a PDF on the internet, I think one on Etsy, one on someplace else, and I'm just trying to figure out which pattern fits the boys the best. And Michael's a little broader, Patrick's very tall and slim, so yeah, that's kind of adapting the pattern. If you've got a pattern that works perfectly, then it is a piece of cake. You cut it out, you start with the shoulder seams, put in the neckband, put in the sleeves, just the top of the sleeves, then sew them like underarm and sleeve, and just hemming them, and then it's done. It's just no job at all, no job at all. I've done a little bit of patchwork, a little bit more, nothing fancy to show you. Yeah, actually I did some nice things, but they're all in the stage that they need to be finished. It's okay. I can't pick it up. I can't show you anyway. I don't think I showed you this last time, but this is just little squares put together. It's super simple. But I had a really lovely fabric, which it's white fabric with flowers, but they are kind of embossed, so that's what the flowers are like. I bought a couple of meters for that because I thought it would be nice for backing. It would be even nice for a tablecloth. I can use it in every kind of way. I could even make a skirt for the summer. It was very nice cotton, yeah, with the embossed flower on it. So I really liked that, and I made quite a big. I think it's going to be a wall hanging. Maybe it's going to be something on my couch, but a bigger size than this one. But I wanted to try the free motion quilting, so I thought, let's be smart and start small. And then I also can practice the binding, because there are tons of tutorials and that's very nice. But I don't have a free motion quilting foot, and at that point I did not even have my fancy sewing machine, so the free motion quilting foot is on its way. But I just did this with my normal foot, and you just keep turning and turning and turning your fabric, and you stitch very slowly so you can make the curves. It should be more easy if you have the free motion quilt foot, because then you can lower your dog feet and you can just move around like that, and you can even write letters, whatever. I'm very curious to see. And then my new sewing machine came, and I can embroider the date. It makes me happy. It does. Usually I stitch the date in everything I make, and now I can just embroider it in. So this is a small one, and it looks nice, doesn't it? And I thought, oh, how nice would it be if I make a ton of these and use them as placemats? It would also be nice. So I kind of started those. I got all the toppings ready. I think 2 of them are already quilted, and I used some fancy embroidery stitch like little leaves and stars, and used silver or gold thread I bought. So nice, but it's not really finished, and I didn't do this kind of work, just do straight line quilting with the embroidery stitch, which I really should have shown you, but that can wait until next time. I just don't want to make it too long. because we all are busy this time of year, don't we? So yeah, I made a few of these, and you actually can buy these pre-cut. So these are 10 by 10 centimeters, and you just have to sew them together. I always have difficulty with making very nice corners. And this is not perfect, but I want to show you. You see, the corners don't line up perfectly, and the big thing that is the problem with that is that you don't cut these little squares accurately. So if there is a few millimeters off, and you do this with a rotary cutter, and the guide you cut across has moved or slide, then yeah, you are a few millimeters off, and then the squares won't match up, and it will get worse if you progress, and that's kind of a thing. There is a machine now for this. Do any of you have that? It is the AccuQuilt, I think it is. There's a stencil you put in the machine, and it cuts the size of the stencil that you put the fabric on. I was like, what? I've done quite a lot of, no, not a, yeah, I did some quilts in the days. Actually, I made 2 bed quilts. I made some small quilts. There are on the couch. I showed you one a few, I think last episode maybe. I did some quilting. There was never anything like that. Very tempting, but nah. I went on the internet, and I just googled for, I think there are charm packs, and there are all kinds of packs in different sizes. If you go to the AliExpress, you have to wait for a little bit. From China they're very cheap, and if you're just practicing, then you got the pre-cuts. These are pre-cut. And I have some very lovely floral ones, and also a little package of pre-cut Christmas fabrics. So those are also very nice. I will pick them up for you and show them, because they are here downstairs. So this is how the packages come. These are pre-cut. I think there are 50 pieces in here, and these are all pre-cut. So I can just sew them together. I was thinking about maybe stockings. You first make all these tiny things together to one big sheet, and then you cut out a stocking pattern to make a backing. And you can add wadding or anything, and to make it a little bit more squishy, and that would be an option. Also would like a table runner, because we were decorating here and there was nothing nice we could put on the tables, and I probably go out now and I can't find anything because everything is already sold out. I will think, and I will not stress. If it won't work this year, it might work next year. That's my theory. Something else about a tiny little zipper foot. I have 2 sewing machines at the moment, and they both got the same zipper foot, and you can use one on the other machine. They're all the same size. But if you have a zipper foot, if you use a sewing machine, then this is a zipper foot which has 2 of these slots, and you click them to one side if you want to do one side of the zipper. You click them to the other side if you want to do another side of the zipper. But I once, a long time ago, had a sewing machine which has a zipper foot like this, and this is just, this only has 1 slot, so the only thing you can do is use your change the needle position. But the big advantage, I think, I'm a bit close, isn't it? The big advantage of this kind of zipper foot is it is less unstable, because if you can imagine, if you get the pressure on one side and the other side not, it is a bit, I think it feels a bit wibbly. While this is just 1 slot, and the pressure is exactly in the middle, and just the needle is the thing that you're gonna move. I personally like these things better, and I hope this works on my new machine, which has a story. I don't know if I should tell you stories or not. I told you last time I was on Amazon and it was a big deal, and it saved me $300 or something, €300 on a sewing machine. I ordered the thing. It should be delivered on Friday. I wait until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then I contacted the seller, and then my heart stopped. Because the response I got is, somebody hacked my account, put in fake advertisements, and I don't sell sewing machines. It's like, and why didn't you contact me? Yeah, I'm so sorry. But Amazon has been notified. I think I'm not gonna wait for that. So I contact Amazon. I said something like that, and that's happened. And they responded, if he can see that you ordered something, he can also cancel your order. And as soon as he cancels your order, your money will be refunded. And absolutely the best service ever. In 2 days, I had the whole money refund back on my account, which was excellent service. But I was so sad because there was no sewing machine coming. And you should know, they always say, if it looks good, too good to be true, it usually is. So there were a lot of fake advertisings going on in that period. And I kept thinking and yeah, what? I was really so looking forward to that machine. And then I thought, I'll just go and look for a machine here in the Netherlands. If there's a problem with it, then it would be easier to get service and repairs and things like that. I found a shop who had sales because they were reconstructing the shop, and they had to get rid of some stock, and well, they had a small discount, but a small discount is better than no discount. But I had to wait for more than a week because it was out of stock, and they were ordering a new one for me. And if I was kind enough to wait, sure, I'll wait. It's got here eventually. It is amazing. I saw one tutorial on YouTube, and I already knew how to operate it. This is so super easy. You can adjust everything you want to. I don't even try part of it, but it is very easy. The thing that really wanted me to buy that machine is because it has 2 buttons. One is it is reinforcing the minute you start the thread. So normally you have to I want to say knit back, but sew a little bit back and front, and then it is secured. The stitch is secured, and then you can start knitting. At the end you have to do a little bit of back stitching and then cut the thread. This machine does it on its own. As soon as you push the pedal, it will do the back stitch and it will start sewing. If you put the end button, it will start doing the back stitching again. And it has an automatically thread cutter. That means you push the button and you hear a sound and it cuts the thread for you. You put it off from under your machine and the thread's already cut. That means that saves a lot of thread, especially if you do quilting and stuff like that. Otherwise you got to pull it from under your machine. There's usually a thread cutter on your machine. You do it over there, but there's always a thread like this. That is a waste if you do a lot of sewing. And it is very easy and very comfortable, and it really did everything. All my expectations are fulfilled with this machine, so I'm very happy with that. At the moment I'm using it a lot without the foot pedal. It has an option to do that. My old machine had that. I never used it, and I don't know why I like it so much this time, but you can really the speed is really controlled. It's like with the spinning machine. If you spin and you treadle by yourself, there's always a little bit of difference in how fast you treadle, if you're excited or what. And that's even with the sewing machine. Your foot is not as consistent as the sewing machine is on automatic. island. Let's call it like that. You can adjust the speed very easily, and you just can focus on what you're sewing, especially if you do a top stitching, want to make nice even stitching. You can put it on slow, use both of your hands to maneuver the fabric, and yeah, never knew that would be so nice and easy. So that's very nice and probably not very interesting for you. Sorry about it. I am a bit weird. Yeah. I did some filming around my living room, some filming of the cats. I think you have probably seen it for the intro. Those tiny little mittens, I knit those last year. They were, I think I started in the beginning of November. I knit one mitten a day and I was just about ready for the advent. And I'll use it every day now. It is on a, have no word for that. It is hanging on my ceiling. You have seen that. There's some fake greenery in between. I will put in my minis that I swapped. You can put in your own minis. If you follow Kia's Bold podcast, you see that she made her own advent mini thing. So you go into your stash, you look for minis, leftovers, you wind them in, you package them, you randomly write numbers on them, and make your own advent calendar and find a nice project. There are lovely carols. Yeah, I'll do a sweater this year, but I've done socks. It is a thing at the moment. It really is a thing, and lots of lovely patterns are popping up. There are a few 12 Days of Christmas. There is even a full yarn advent calendar left if anyone's still interested. You don't have to open up every day one package. You can gift yourself a whole 24 mini skein set and a project bag, which is here, and you can see I put all the minis in here that I get every day, and I put some extra in to make sure I can coordinate some colors that will look a little bit better next to each other. So the that's a nice gift for yourself. And then you have 24 lovely hand-dyed minis. There's also the best, knitter's best Christmas gift or something like I call that. Then you will get half of the mini skates, you get 12. And this project bag, and I will add 5 stitch markers, including that lovely little sheep, which is also now available in my shop. So this is quite a big bag. You can see it's totally disappearing. I call it sock size, but I think it's more shawl, and you can even do the beginning of a sweater in there, because it's quite a big one. And it is just lined with white, which I kind of like. It is you can really see what's in there. You can't, but I can. So that's a good thing. Some things left in the shop if you're interested. If you are, I will ship it out the first thing the next day, because I want you to get it in time, and there's still time. But Post is already complaining about too much packages, too little time, not enough employees. Yeah, it happens every day. So I thought that might not be a surprise for after so many years, but I guess it still is. And that's kind of a shame. But well, you can't, there's nothing you can do. We still have plenty of time to send out presents, and yeah, whatever. I had also another fun fact, which I did not prepare. That's also something I saw on Kia's Boat. There was a lovely mitten pattern, and I will do a drawing at the beginning of January under my coffee donator. So if you have donated me a coffee, or if you want to donate me a coffee in the next couple of weeks, I will do a drawing under my coffee donators from now on, from no, not from now on, until the 1st of January, everything who have ever donated me a coffee, I will do a drawing and I will donate you the Mitten Pattern, which is a very easy, it is written in English, it is by a Swedish designer, and she did some modifications to make a very nice fit. It has a little bit of color work, and it's just very lovely. So that will be the price in January. I will just do a random number generator of comment generator. I don't know if there's anything on the Coffee account. There's a link below if you want to look it up. But yeah, if you want, I will send the pattern through Ravelry if I have your Ravelry name. If not, I will contact you and we'll figure it out. Today I want to end with a quote, and I found those quotes on a safe place in your head, and that's the Instagram account. So I hope you enjoy. When your head hits the pillow tonight, remind yourself that you have done a good job. Be patient with yourself. And remember that big things are achieved not all at once, but one day at a time. I hope you have a lovely time preparation for Christmas, and I'll see you soon. I love you. Bye bye, my friends.